The only Christmas tree worth having this year is the Tree of Evolutionary Life, now in its limited edition winter form. Grab this limited time poster now while you can. It depicts every single Pokemon and how they'll be related to each other, including the all-new Melmetal. Using the links below, grab one for yourself or for a friend.
Hello, Pokemon Masters! Birdkeeper Toby here, and welcome to Kanto Week. This is it! Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are out this week, and so as I do with the release of every new Pokemon game and generation, I like to do a week of content focusing around the region, the world of that game. And what a fun way to kick this off, I think. The coolest way to kick this off is to talk about this poster behind me right there, the evolution poster. By the way, that is not the actual size they come in. That is the actual size they come in. This one is a weird promo one that is just for the sake of the background of videos. Maybe if I ever go to Comic-Con or something, I'll staple it on the back of a booth or something. But no, the Evolutionary Tree of Life. This is a sort of bonus episode, but also this is kind of to give you some idea of how going forward, when every time a new Pokemon is announced or a new group of Pokemon is announced, how I'm going to be talking about them, how I'm going to add them to that tree. Right now though, before I begin, of course, as with every video this week, if you leave a like and you leave a comment, there's a chance that you could win a copy of Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. All you gotta do is leave the like, leave the comment. The comment, you know, it can say anything. Obviously, I prefer if it was like in tone with whatever the video is about, but every time you do it on a video with Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee in the title on this channel, you enter yourself as a chance to win a copy of the game. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, anyone can get it, so good luck to you. Those will be going on all week. And the other announcement that I guess has been, you may have seen already, is that the winter edition of the Evolutionary Tree of Life poster is about. It's the only tree worth having this Christmas. The Evolutionary Tree of Life. A few Pokemon have been added, as you may have seen, Chandelure and Castform have been added. Castform gets a nice new winter form. In fact, over 80 Pokemon have had their form, well, 80 Pokemon exactly, have had their form changed. That includes every Mega Evolution, there's like Shadow Lugia and a bunch of other cool little bits and bobs in there. And, of course, it has Melmetal, the topic of this video. And that poster is limited until December 31st. And when it hits December 31st, it's going to be gone forever. Once it's gone, it's gone. So if you've got a friend who maybe you want to buy the poster for Christmas, or you want to get it for yourself as a more updated version, this is it. But let's talk about Meltan and its evolution, Melmetal. Where do they belong on the Evolutionary Tree of Life? And thank you again so much, Hydroflorix, for helping me out with this. These artworks that come in their special little Christmas hats, which are on the posters, these arts are usually Hydroflorix waits till the game's out and then does like a new daily Pokemon every single day. So it's a while after the game comes out before they're all drawn. I went ahead and commissioned Hydroflorix. Personally, I absolutely love these designs, these drawings, and thank you so much to you for helping me, for doing those for me. If you want to check out Hydroflorix's work, it'll be linked below, of course. And the thing is, I had to do it twice because Meltan got announced separately to Melmetal, and we only just got it with Melmetal on. It was nearly Meltan on the poster, which I wouldn't mind because Meltan's cute. So, where do they belong on the Evolutionary Tree of Life? You might look at it first and think, man-made. It's gotta be a man-made Pokemon. Look at it, it's got a giant Hexnut on its head. It is the Hexnut Pokemon and it has wiring in its body. But there is information stating that this Pokemon existed 3,000 years ago, and I think it probably was very unlikely that this Pokemon was man-made 3,000 years ago. The oldest man-made Pokemon we know about is Magearna, a different Steel-type mythical Pokemon, and that was created 500 years. 500 to 3,000 is a big difference. I want to argue, and the place that I've already put it on the poster, is that it is an extraterrestrial Pokemon. First of all, let's take a little look at the Pokemon I've already placed in space. You've got your biological life forms and your mineral life forms. Having a look at the biological ones, you have Pokemon like Clefable, Wigglytuff, Audino, Togekiss, Hooper, and Latios and Latias, which are only really in space because of their believed connection to Togekiss. Meanwhile, the majority of Pokemon that appear in space appear to be made out of various minerals. You're looking at Solrock, Lunatone, Mini or Behem. On top of that, you've got both Deoxys and Drachi, which are both comet-related Pokemon. Deoxys, a mutated space virus that seems to revolve around its gem-like core, and Drachi, of course, being a comet that has awakened, or at least Drachi sleeps in a comet, and it's part Steel-type, which to me gives it that mineral-like element. It's also been beyond highly speculated that both Metagross and Magnezone, which are probably related, are from space. Did a whole video covering that topic. And so as a result, I put many of the other mineral Pokemon as sort of evolutions to this. Let's say an ancestor of Solrock and Lunatones falls to Earth thousands of years ago, it evolves and shapes itself with the Earth-like environment, and maybe it ends up looking something a little bit more like Gigalith. The same example makes a lot of sense as to why Sudowoodo looks like a tree but isn't a tree. It's a rock type. And also it's the mimic Pokemon. It's because it is a rock mimicking a tree. It is trying to blend in with the Earth-like environments. Possibly Sudowoodo and Monde Behem have some kind of shared common ancestor. Some other mineral Pokemon that fell from space and has since been living on Earth and trying to adapt to blend into the Earth's environments. And that's how you can end up with something like Sudowoodo. Okay, but that's very speculative. How does this all relate to Meltan? Well, Meltan is a mineral Pokemon. It's made of supposedly mercury, although there is debate as to which metal specifically, but the point is, it's made out of metal. It's existed for over 3,000 years at least, and the idea that it comes from space isn't even that surprising. First of all, on the same basis that many of the other mineral Pokemon, I've already placed Klinklang in here. And you might say, but Klinklang is a bunch of like cogs and wheels that have come to life, but that's not true at all. We don't actually have any evidence for that in the Pokedex or anywhere else. Just like Sudowoodo, potentially the Pokemon that came down from space and evolving over thousands of years has just blended into the environments that it was found in. With Meltan, it's a little bit different because it hasn't blended in with the environments to end up with a Hex Nut. Actually, it's absorbed lots of other Earth-like metals. Hex Nuts are perhaps something that we use a lot here on Earth, or maybe in the Pokemon world they use them a particularly large amount, and so it's absorbed those things, and over time that's just become part of its biology. We've also talked in the evolution series about creatures that change the color of their skin based on the things that they eat. This is very much the same case. It's assimilating the wiring and the metals of the human environment, and then assimilating it and turning into that and looking like that. Eventually, after enough generations, it just becomes part of the Pokemon's biology. Interestingly enough, its eye moves around the center of the Hex Nut using what looks to be like electromagnetism, which is literally the explanation as to how Magnezone manages to float, Metagross manages to float. It's speculated that that is how many of the rock Pokemon are able to bounce very high or float, like Geodude or Onyx seems to float in some games. It's because of the minerals within them and their electromagnetic properties. This Pokemon just shares so much in common with lots of the other mineral Pokemon, so I fully suspect it comes from space, but if you still don't believe me, on the extraterrestrial part of the tree that I've created, I've put Hooper, Diancie, Latios, Latias, Deoxys, Drachi. There's lots of other legendary and mythical Pokemon here. Now, it's possible that I've got some of those wrong, but those are just the Pokemon that I've placed here. I haven't even talked about origin Pokemon that have their connections to space, like Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Arceus. The Unknown have a relationship to space. Mew has a relationship to space. All of the Ultra Beasts have connections to space. In fact, there are more mythical and legendary Pokemon with a relationship with space than any other, like, branch of evolutionary life. So with that in mind, the idea that Meltan and Melmetal come from space, given that it's 3,000 years old, seems like a no-brainer to me. That's just where I place it on the evolutionary tree of life. You're gonna have to let me know what you think in the comments, and of course, if you do leave a comment and leave a like or a dislike or whatever, it's gonna act as an entry. A chance for you to win a copy of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee when it comes out. Let's hope we can find out more about Melmetal. And if you want to grab the limited edition poster, these will be gone after December 31st. After that, they are not coming back in this form. They are just going to be in their regular form. Castform and Chandelure will be on the regular form, but as for Melmetal and all of the different form changes, there's 80 different form changes on this tree, as well as it just having that nice snazzy festive look. If you want to grab that and any of my other merch, there's like, for example, my Team Snooze pin. These things are available, link at the top of the description, and every time you buy that, it does help out me, it helps out the channel. Going forward, I'm looking forward to doing more of these evolutionary tree videos. As far as I know, there's one more bonus episode to come out, and then after that, we'll just have to wait and see whatever Pokemon they may or may not announce. Maybe not, maybe it's the end of Pokemon. Who knows, but of course, soar high, Pokemon Masters.